Okay, item D. Excuse me, the motion did carry, I'm sorry. Appointment of DCAA board member Greg Moyer. I move that we appoint Greg Moyer to the Daughters County Ambulance Authority Board of Directors. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
2 nays. The nays have it. Motion denied. Greg Moyer, you're on the agenda.
Here again to address the County Commission and to clarify some facts that I stated at the last meeting and comments that appeared in the newspaper after the last meeting. I spoke with the County Commission at the last meeting for 26 minutes. My main objective was to ask what information was used in making your decision to not elect me to the Board of Directors for the DCAA, since the 2 commissioners who voted against me had never contacted me. Shirley, during the last meeting, you stated that you make your decision based on rumors and hearsay. And Greg, you stated that you also heard rumors that I was anti-ambulance authority. During the 26 minutes that I spoke to the commission, I stated 5 times in that conversation that I was not anti-DCAA and I was not looking to shut them down. 5 times I stated that. Yet when you 2 were interviewed by the Exponent Telegram, here's what you had to say. Shirley, I quote, "He wanted to ask Greg and I why we didn't put him on the board. He told us he had a background in the Fortune 500 and a college education and was a business person. He didn't sound favorable to the AA." Can you explain to me how I did not sound favorable to the DCAA when I stated 5 times that I was not against the DCAA?
You didn't sound favorable. You would say that you was going to get them straightened out, that this needed to be ended, and you kind of had an overbearing attitude about it.
Wouldn't the Board of Directors want to straighten out the company that they're running? No? Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. You know what it means when you misspeak the facts? You know what that means? Okay. Greg, you made a statement to the paper that I was upset at the questioning of my qualifications to serve on the board. I was not, and I am not, upset with my qualifications to serve on the board. My whole message was to ask what facts you based your decision on by not electing me to the board. You did, however, respond to my question by telling me in the public that you based your decision on what you heard from other people. You were also interviewed by the Exponent Telegram, and your comments were, and I quote, "Personally, I don't have any issues with his education or business qualification. My concern was he would be anti-ambulance authority. He addressed the commission for some time, questioning our reason. I still have my reservations. My thought is we should have individuals who are middle of the road, someone who will listen to the problems, the facts, and try to resolve those, rather than actively seeking the demise of the organization." End quote. Based on your comment to the Exponent Telegram, you have indicated that I would be actively seeking the demise of the organization. Again, I want to remind you that I stated 5 times I am not anti-ambulance authority. So what do you base this comment on?
I didn't go to the extent that I'm going to at this meeting. I didn't go to that extent last meeting because I was trying to not get to this point. But I have talked with county officials here in the county, and to a person, they indicated that you can be a pain, that you, when you're in your dealings with them. Now, I'm not going to name names, but these are people that I trust their opinion. Now, another factor is and I didn't say this before either, but I look at who is backing someone to be named to the board. And if it were all middle of the road people who I see backing you, then maybe, just maybe, I would give that consideration. However, what I see are people backing you who are openly against the Dodge County Ambulance Authority. And let me,
Who's backing?
well,
I'm here by you don't see a crowd standing behind me here, do you?
there were several people that stood up, or several people clapped when
They like what they heard.
well, maybe they did.
Okay,
But
let's move on
here's,
here. I'm going to use one of your terms. I know you got blasted for this, but I'm going to use it because I think it's a pretty good one for me to use. Shirley and Greg, you people want to get it. You missed a complete message of my conversation last week or 2 weeks ago for 26 minutes. You missed it completely. So now I'm going to ask you something, Greg.
okay.
Do you know what the word defamation of character means?
Sure.
Can you explain to me?
That's when you say something about someone that is not true.
Right? And it affects, I'm going to read it to you. Any intentional false communication, either written or spoken, that harms a person's reputation, decreases the respect, regard, or confidence in which a person is held, or induces disparaging, hostile, or disagreeable opinions or feelings against a person. Defamation may be a criminal or civil charge. It encompasses both written statements known as libel and spoken statements called slander. You know what those two words mean?
Well, I know exactly.
Okay, I'm going to read them though. Slander is an oral defamation in which someone tells one or more persons an untruth about another, which untruth will harm the reputation of the person defended. Slander is a civil wrong and can be the basis for a lawsuit. Libel is to publish in print, which would be newspaper articles, including pictures, writing, or broadcast through radio, television, or film, an untruth about another which will do harm to that person or his or her reputation by tending to bring the target into ridicule, hatred, scorn, or contempt of others. You're pushing this. Let me ask you this, Greg.
Okay.
You consider yourself an honest person?
Yes.
You believe in honesty?
Mhm.
Tell me honestly why you are afraid to put me on the DCAA board.
I think I've already voiced that.
Okay?
And
Okay. You mentioned at the last meeting that you were told by Butch that I wanted to straighten the place out. And Butch did tell me that he did tell you that. Don't you think that the board of directors should be straightening things out, keeping the company running properly, and why would you be against that?
you see, if you were here at the last meeting and you heard my reasoning for removing another board member, it had, once my vote was voiced to keep to not eliminate the DCAA, things turned dramatically different in the board meetings of the AA. There was lots of arguments and differences of opinion, and nothing was getting done because we were constantly, you want to call it nitpicking, and that's what we're trying to get past. We're trying to get past this constant fighting with somebody on the board, and
well, with that, if I was to be put on the board, which you just voted me no again, you didn't like what I was doing, you just voted me off like you did Bobby, but you didn't take the chance. So Shirley, I'm going to ask you: do you consider yourself an honest person?
Yes,
Do you believe in honesty?
yes.
I think we all do, but can you honestly tell me why you didn't vote for me and put me on the DCAA board? Honestly, tell me.
Because of your attitude.
Again, if you didn't like it, you could have voted me off the board, but you didn't give me change. So, okay. I want to clarify some comments and thoughts that you may have about me. I'm not a puppet. Nobody controls my thought process. I think for myself, I gather the facts, and I try to see situations from all angles. Seeing how information has been misunderstood and misquoted, it is my opinion that you, Greg Robinson, may be the person not willing to be open-minded, or someone who will listen to the problems and facts that you stated in the paper about me. Maybe you're part of the problem. You're a non-voting member of the DCAA Board of Directors, correct? Correct? Yes or no? A non-voting member of the DCAA.
I made that choice.
Okay. Since you cannot vote, what is your purpose by being on the board?
As a representative of the county commission.
Okay, you're a liaison, right?
The county commission appointed me.
I have the bylaws.
Beginning of 2
I have
years.
the bylaws right here of the DCAA, and they are dated 2009, I believe. Well, there's an amendment here, but the original ones were approved September 24th, 2009. Nowhere on there does it state that a commissioner has to be on the board. It also states that, and I quote, "An attested copy of the revised bylaws shall also be filed in the office of the Dodgers County Clerk," end quote. Do you know if there's any copies of revisions filed with the county clerk pertaining to the DCAA? Any revisions been made since 2009, so these are still current? Well, they're supposed to be filed, according to the bylaws, they're supposed to be filed with the county clerk's office. Well, even if they weren't, they still should be in the office.
There is one thing that you're failing to recognize here, that a state law cannot trump a federal law. County law cannot trump a state law. And the county commission has the right for any of the organizations that depend on the funding to name representatives. We name them for many, many different organizations.
Okay. So, since you're on the board, I can ask you for information, you can provide it to me, since you're on the board of directors of the AA.
For what?
Well, just if I call you up and say, hey, I'm curious about whatever, can I contact you and you can provide that information to me? Since you're on the board, would you know or tell me where to go find the answer?
If I know the answers and it doesn't compromise privileged information.
Okay. After the last commission meeting, hearing from both of you, Greg and Shirley, that you stated that you base your decisions on hearsay and rumor, I wondered what prompted both of you to remove Bob Beamer from the DCAA Board of Directors. I decided to get some information for myself into the situation, since all situations have two sides of the story. So I met with Bob Beamer in person. I don't know the guy. I've never met him before but one time. I met with him. I asked him questions. I heard his side. I didn't judge anybody. I just listened. Based on that conversation, and from what I heard from you two, I want to ask you some more questions. Shirley, when you voted in favor of removing Bob Beamer, had you talked with any other board of director members or to Bob Beamer himself to gain some insight to the situation?
I didn't vote for him anyway.
I didn't ask you if you voted for him. I asked if you talked to him.
Something funny?
Yeah, I feel everything understood the situation.
When the situation came up,
I had my opinions.
I understand that, but the question is, I'll read it again. When you voted in favor of removing Bob Beamer, had you talked with any other board of director members or to Bob Beamer to gain some insight to the situation?
No, I didn't need to.
Okay. So you removed someone from the board.
I didn't vote for him.
You voted to remove him. And I was at the last
But I
meeting,
didn't
2-1
vote for
vote
him
to
on the
remove
board.
Bob Beamer from the board of directors.
Okay.
I sat right here and watched it, it's on video. Okay, did you base your decision on what Greg Robinson wanted to have happen.
No, I did not.
Okay. Had you heard anything from any of the other board of director members or from the director of the DCAA
No,
concerning removing Bob Beamer?
no.
Okay. Do you always make uninformed decisions?
I have my own opinions, I said.
I understand that, but the question is, do you always make uninformed decisions? When you
But it
elect,
was
when you
not
elect to
uninformed.
remove
Just because
somebody,
I didn't talk to the board, that wasn't uninformed.
Shirley, you talked to me. You
Oh,
talked to me.
okay.
okay. It appears to me, and this is my opinion, that when Greg makes a motion, you automatically vote his way. That's the end of it. Just like you vote automatically against Bush. We discussed that in the last meeting. This type of behavior needs to stop. Okay? You can call it, I got a bad attitude or whatever, but the public's getting tired of that. And that's who you work for. That's right, but you have to do what's best for the county.
That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
do.
I will tell you this, if you were employed by a corporation and constantly made uninformed decisions, you would be terminated for being incompetent.
See what I mean by being overbearing?
That's fact. Greg, since you're on the board, when this came about to remove Bob Beamer, should the director or someone representing the board have been present in the meeting to report to the commission what was voted on or what they thought they should do since the board is in charge of the DCAA? Should there not have been somebody here present to discuss in the meeting what was going on and what we wanted to do? I mean, and if so, and this pertains to removing Bob Beamer, there should be meeting minutes to back the decision to remove Bob Beamer from the DCAA board director meetings. If that was done in a approved meeting, there should be minutes stating that the board and the director voted to do this. Is there such minutes to back that up? Because you offer no evidence.
I don't know that the board of directors of the AAF would make that decision. The Douglas County Commission makes that decision.
Really?
Sure, that's like,
So if the board wants to keep a
that's-
guy and you want him off of there, it's up to you to do it, not the board?
correct.
So why have a board? Because you're
See,
overriding the
this
board.
is not the only thing that the board of directors has to contend with.
But I'm saying, if the commission can just do what they want, then why have the board?
The board of directors over the director.
The board of directors works with the director.
Sounds to me like if you're as competent as you say in the business world, that you should know that. You know,
I'm asking you though.
I'm telling you that the board of directors does not vote. They shared their opinion with me.
Okay. So that should be in the meeting, and that should be in the meeting notes.
No, that's not. It's the board of directors does not vote on that. They don't vote on who to. You know, they may make recommendations
That's
to
what I'm
us.
getting at. Did they recommend Bob Beamer to be removed?
Not in a meeting,
Okay.
but they don't have to make a recommendation.
Something here don't seem right.
Well, what doesn't seem right is your.
I'm trying to be open-minded here.
Well, that's fine. But what in your open-mindedness, you have to realize that number one, these three officials up here were elected, and
By who?
by the county.
Okay.
And it is then becomes we are a representative form of government, and we have we decide in this case who is going to be on the board, and it doesn't have to be what you think it should be. It's it's our decision. It's my decision, it's Shirley's decision, and it's Butch's decision. And that's the bottom line. There is no, you can talk all you want to talk about education. You know, there's There's a lot of things that can be said about education. Can be a lot of things said about feelings. There can be a lot of things said about intuition. But the bottom line, once again, in case you didn't understand it, it's our decision.
I understand that. I accept it. I accept it.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on here. I don't know Mr. Krim. I don't know if he's here tonight or not. Is he? No. I don't know him. I'm sure he's a good fellow. I'm not here to judge him. My question is, I have the job overview for the executive director of the DCAA right here. I would like to know if he meets the qualifications.
Yes, he does.
I mean, the whole, for the commission. He does. He meets all the requirements.
He doesn't have his EMT teaching, but he's getting it. That is the only thing he doesn't have.
And
He has a
are you
cover.
sure he's still in class? Before you make that statement,
He's not in class right at this time, but he is going to be finishing it.
when?
ASAP.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, you know, everybody is putting the DCAA debt forward. I am the treasurer of the board, and I think I have a right to speak after you speak.
Excuse me.
After you speak.
Which stated that when I have the floor, you don't interrupt.
I'm just saying after
Okay,
you
I'm just
speak.
saying you don't interrupt. This is my time. Yeah, I have a list. I don't have anything against Mr. Krim. I don't even know the guy. I'm not here to judge him. My question is, it could be anybody. Does that person meet the requirements and the qualifications that have been spelled out? I mean, right here is a list from A to L that they must possess these skills, and then down here is what they prefer the person to have. But these up here, they have to have. My question is, does he meet them? If he does, that's fine. I don't have any problem with it. I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's a good guy. But if he doesn't meet them, you need to maybe post it and get the right person. I'm not against the guy at all, but just make sure the guy's qualified. Because it's a big job. I mean, do you know Mr. Krim?
Yes.
Do you know Mr. Krim? Okay. Did you sit down and talk with him, interview him? I mean, what did you base your vote on when you confirmed him to the director?
Experiences.
Did you talk to him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's good. Did you talk to him?
Sure.
Okay. Since both of you have voted to, again, not put me on the board, what you have done is you have forced me to be a concerned and interested citizen of Dougherty County. I'll be attending these meetings to question you both, and more specifically, Greg, since you're a board member on the operation of the DCAA. Get used to seeing me. We question you on specifics, and I will expect direct answers, and I will not accept long-winded answers from you.
No, is that correct?
That's correct. I would like exact, precise, not a 10-minute answer, just answer the question, please. I've been approached by several citizens of the county since the last meeting, and I'll tell you that the momentum and concern is present in the county. And I expect answers from the commission, as do the public. I'm not going to argue these points through the meeting. I'm not going to do it through the paper. I'm not going to do it on Facebook. I'm not going to do it on Dougherty County topics. I'm not doing it on none of that. I'll be here in person to confront you face to face. And I expect the same from you. Thank you.